All right, diving straight into the game. The Spurs have looked very impressive. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than they've looked very impressive. Overall, as a team, as you can see here, we shot over 50%. That's always good. 37% from 3% or from 3-point line behind the arc. That is turnovers. We had almost half as many turnovers as they did with 12 versus their 22. Rebounds, we were a little under them with 5 less at 40. But overall, this was a very good game. And it was close the entire time. And I never felt like we were going to lose control of it. I never felt like we were going to screw it up. It just seemed like the team was in control the entire time. I was very impressed. I was very, very, very impressed by 2 players in particular. But before we get to that, let's just go one by one, and I'll tell you how I feel about how everyone performed. And I know that it's preseason, but even Wemby has said himself, it starts now. The winning starts now. And I definitely feel a winning culture with the Spurs. Like they play with a lot of intensity. So starting off with Zach Collins, it's a little troublesome. Okay, 0 for 6 from 3. He's gonna have to knock those down. It's only one game, but I am nervous. I'll be honest with you. Defensively, he was fine. Nothing's gonna change there. We're not expecting some big jump from last season in that regard, but we do expect him to be better at 3. And he wasn't terrible at 3 last season, was he? Hold on, stats. What was he, 34%? 32. Okay, no, it wasn't that great. Yeah, we expect him to be better. We're hoping that we can get the second year, Zach Collins' second year with the Spurs, where he shot 37%. That's where he needs to be in order to get substantial minutes on the court. So that's the one thing I'm worried about. Other than that, it's not like he played poorly necessarily. He made good reads. He filled the lanes well. Nothing really there. You still sleep on Minix. I'll be honest. I don't think that Minix is going to get minutes, when it's all said and done. But I will say that with our bigs being able to shoot at a decent clip, Zach Collins, he might be in a little trouble. Maybe in a little trouble. Okay. I'm still wondering where the heck is Charles Bassey. Does anyone in the chat know? I'll let the chat answer that. Where the heck is Charles Bassey? What is he injured with? Let me know about that. Is it still the same stuff from last season or what? Anyways, moving on. And I'll read that in a minute. Julian Champagny. He still did his thing. 4 for 8 from 3, so 50%. This is how they're going to use him, right? I think that a lot of fans are going to like him this season. I said this last season too, though, that when you go into, a season where he's starting and we're not really that good and we don't have a great facilitator, not to say Trey Jones is a bad one, but, we don't have a great facilitator. You don't really get to see how much he can shine. But fortunately for us, with the addition of Chris Paul and the addition of Castle and Blake Wesley playing very well, I think he shines even more. And this is what we're going to see. He needs easier shots. He is the definition of a 3-and-D type player. When he's coming off the bench, he's going to be even better, but they're probably going to start off the season with him starting. And then in the fourth quarter, I'm assuming they're going to end with Castle, because Castle's been very clutch. He's been very clutch. But moving on, let's see. Achilles still still recovering. Thanks, Mando. So Charles Bassey is still recovering. I didn't know if it was a new injury or not. Your boy Sohan, actually, on paper he played well. 7 for 12 ain't that bad. It was an okay game by him, but 3 steals is huge. His defense was good, like it always is. Pretty consistent. Like there's nothing really new there for Sohan, but overall, if you watch the game, it was a few questionable shots he took, right? A few questionable shots he took in the paint, that is. I don't know why our team kept trying Walker Kessler. I mean, I guess you can't be afraid of him, but man, they kept trying him in the paint. I do not understand why we kept doing that. The Sohan dunk was nasty. It was nasty. It was indeed nasty. But yeah, you guys know how I feel about Sohan. He's been consistent. He's going to do his thing. Out of the starting lineup, only he and Chris Paul had a positive plus-minus ratio. So +3 for Sohan. Did a good job. Harrison Barnes, I'm never gonna have anything to say about him. I'll be honest with you. I'll never have anything to say about him. I mean, he's solid all the way around. I don't know why I would even have to. There's nothing new I've seen here. He's fine. He's fine. I mean, as far as his 3-point percentage through the preseason, hasn't been the best, but allow the season to start, he'll be much better. Sohan isn't scared in the paint. No, he's not. He's not scared. It was just some questionable shots, though. I was just like, what are we doing? This is good. Like, this is a good percentage. You know, he didn't do bad. 7 for 12 is good. Just a little strange at times. Chris Paul. So Chris Paul continuously tried to find his rhythm, and he just didn't. But he still managed to give us 8 assists, and he played very well. And the shots that he took, they weren't questionable or anything. Those are shots that he normally could hit. I think that he just came into this game, you know, with Wemby not being there, just tried to help us out a little bit more on the offensive end. Him and Harrison Barnes both took 7 shots and both had really poor percentages. But I think just overall, he was just trying to, you know, help the team and take advantage of mismatches. Castle's up. Okay, we're gonna get to Castle. Hold on, we're gonna get to Castle. Mamu did his thing, 3 for 6. Did his thing. I think Mamu. I think we can go ahead and say with a lot of certainty that he's a backup power forward, right? Like I don't think. I think it would be foolish at this point if Pop and company didn't give him big time minutes. He deserves big time minutes. He played, and Pop has already said he's like his favorite player on the team. He plays the right way, made good passes. I mean, Castle. You guys mentioned Castle. Castle keeps going to Mamu. Like, he really trusts him. He keeps going to him. But overall, did good. He did well. 5 for 10 overall. Mamu has crazy good chemistry with Castle. He really does. He has good chemistry with Wemby too. You know, unfortunately, we haven't really got to see it, you know, through the preseason with Wemby being out. But yeah, he has really great chemistry with Wemby. He hustles and has high IQ. Yeah, he's just not a great defender. You know, you can't keep him in the game super long versus specific centers and matchups and power forwards, that is. But overall, he's fine. I think undoubtedly he's going to back up Sohan. I think it would be foolish not to at this point. Like, that would just be stupid. Spurs fans, I need to know, who should I take fantasy basketball, Castle or Chris Paul? Oh, God, that's actually a really good question. Probably Chris Paul. Yeah. Probably Chris Paul. Moving on. Ingram, you know, it's not much to say there. I'm not going to say much about Ingram. I know everyone loves Minix. I don't hate him or dislike him or anything. And like I said, with his shooting ability, it's just making Collins look bad, man. It's making Collins look really bad, because that's really what we need him for. We're not leaning on Collins for anything else. I think last season he had, oh gosh, I can't remember what that specific stat is. It's when you pass the ball in plenty of different ways. What is that called? Can you guys tell me? Is it like diversity in your passing? Oh, what's that called? I need some help, chat. Like, you can make a lot of different passes. He was top in the league at that amongst big men. Castle is like Josh Stockton. All right, I'll let you guys let me know. I cannot remember what that's called. It's when you can make a bunch of different types of passes. You know, skip passes, bounce passes. I don't know. But he was top of the league in that. Send him to China. Okay. All right. I guess we're not going to answer that. Pass verse. Is that what it is? Relay pass? No. It's like versatility in passing. It's a stat for that, and I can't remember what the stat is called. God, that's going to bother me all night if I don't remember. But you know what I'm saying, right? He can make so many different passes, and he was top of the league of that. But that's not what we need him for, right? We don't care about his defense. We don't care about the passing ability. I mean, those things are good. You know, it can keep him in a game at certain times. But most importantly, we need him to be able to hit wide open 3-point shots. Is that? Oh, yes, passing versatility. Is that what it's called? I thought it was called something else. But yeah. Anyways, so I'm a little nervous there. But yeah, Meanix hitting shots like this, it should make Collins a little nervous. Me personally, I think it should make him nervous. Because everyone's basically knocking down their threes, right? No one's really struggling, really. Any big man, none of them are struggling. And that's the one thing we need him for. Anyways, sorry. Keldon Johnson, 9 for 13. He had a good game, right? He had a good game. It's one of those things, man, where I'm cheering, like, he's a Spur, right? I'm cheering him on. Passing efficiency? No. Is it passing versatility? It's a real metric. Maybe it is that. Okay, passing versatility. Okay, maybe it was passing versatility then. Yeah, but Keldon Johnson, this is going to be a continuous thing between me and fans of Keldon, because I mean, I'm a fan of him only because he's a Spur, but I'll be honest with you guys, I do not like the shot selection. But I will say this, in the third quarter, I thought he did a very good job of distributing the ball. Yeah, exactly. Jada said Keldon actually passed out of some drives, seemed new. Yeah, in the third quarter, it looked pretty good. I'm just still nervous. I'm going to be hesitant, right? I know some people have in the chat specifically said he looks faster. I don't necessarily see. I mean, he looks slightly quicker, but it's the tendencies. It's never been Keldon Johnson's athletic ability. It's always been the tendencies. That's the only thing that worries me about him. He's terrible with shot selection and loves driving, but luckily he played well. Yeah. Because in this game, he went in the chest of Walker Kessler, and then he did it again, like right after. The first shot, I was like, that's a bad shot. He made it, and I was like, oh my God, that was a bad shot. Then he did it again, then got blocked by Kessler. And then I think he attempted another one, got blocked again. So, I don't know. But 9 for 13 is great. 20 points, +4, plus-minus ratio. I know, oh, Ruru's left. I know, Ruru. I know. I don't mean to be like this, man. I don't mean to be like this. I hope that, the tendencies change. But in the third quarter, he did do a good job of passing out. So I was like, okay, all right, that looks much better. And I'm sure having someone like Chris Paul is definitely going to help as well, instill that. So don't hate Keldon or anything like that. I genuinely like him. And I think that he's a good player. It's not like me saying he's a scrub. It's just the tendencies. Let's see. Flynn only played a minute. Trey Jones did Trey Jones things. Nothing to say there. 5 steals was crazy, though. Was not expecting that from Trey Jones tonight. That was really great. Boston Jr., nothing there. All right, so we got to talk about these two. All right, and we're just gonna group them together. Okay, we're gonna group them together like Gogeta. Okay, like Goku and Vegeta. Okay, like Goku and Vegeta. We're just gonna lump them together. They play so well together, man. Blake Wesley and Castle look really good together. I think we all agree on that, right? Like it's very impressive, both of them. So Blake Wesley, I wasn't expecting his handles to be as tight as they are, nor was I expecting his passing ability to take a huge leap. He is not turning the ball over at all. He seems way more controlled. I think that's the word of the day for him, or the week. He just looks controlled, man. He looks like he's in control of his body. He's control of what move he's going to make next. He's control of as a maestro on the court. He just overall has way more control than he did last season. And then defensively, I think he's gotten even better. He's not a lockdown like Castle is, but he's definitely a pest. He's a pesty player. But those two together, when they're on the court together, they look really good. They play really well together. And yeah, so overall, I don't want to put a label on Wesley, right? I don't want to say, oh, he's a point guard of the future, or he's a shooting guard of the future. He's just combo, man. You can kind of just put him in whenever you need a little bit of pestiness. I'm just hoping that his 3-point shot is better. We haven't really gotten to see it yet. Today he took one and it didn't look the prettiest, but that's something that he's going to have to work on. But most importantly, man, he's worked on his handles. His basketball IQ has gotten even better. And we know that in college he did run point guard, and he actually came in and took over the point guard position from someone else that was a veteran at that position at the time. So he came in as a rookie, and they gave it to him. So he can run the point. He's just been doing a really good job. I have no complaints about Wesley whatsoever. And then Castle, as I always said, controlled. He was great. Very clutch as well. Very clutch. He uses his body extraordinarily well. He's so patient. He goes at his own pace, and it's not too slow, not too fast, but it's just enough to throw off the defense. He's so good. He's so good. He's so good, man. All right, now, but there is one elephant in the room, right? I know we mentioned Zach Collins, but there's another elephant in the room. We just got done talking about him in another video. This man right here. What is your opinion on Malachi being DNP? Oh, yeah, see, that's what I want to talk about. I think he's gone. I think the Spurs have till the end of the season to do that 4th-year option, right? I think it's a wrap. And the reason why I think that is because, and I could be wrong, but I think it's not a matter of, because people will say like, oh, Brandon's trash, get rid of him or whatever. I don't think he's trash. It's just that what he does best is more of a pick and roll mid-range threat. That's what he is. And unfortunately, with the Spurs, we don't have to use him as that. We barely had to use him as that last season, right? He's not a spot-up shooter. That's just not who he is, and that's what the Spurs need him to be. And that's what makes me worried. Like, I don't know if he's going to be here. That's the problem. It has nothing to do with his ability to play basketball. Like, he's good. He'll be fine in the NBA. It's just he's with the wrong team. Which, we already barely used, his best trait. But when you add on Chris Paul and now Blake Wesley playing as well as he is, as an on-ball handler, and Castle, he's resorted to just being a spot-up shooter. And unlike Julian Champagnie, he's not going to be able to make up for not shooting well defensively. So if you have him as a spot-up shooter, he's not a 3-and-D. He's just a spot-up shooter. If he's not hitting his shots, then he's sit. And he'll just end up being one of those players you put in and see, can you get going? Can you be a spark plug? Oh, you can't? Okay, you sit for the rest of the game. Like, that's the type of player I'm getting the vibe that we're going to use him as. Like, come in, you're going to give us something? No? Okay, sit down. I don't know. Am I too late for the KJ hate? Good guy. Keldon went off today and played good defense too. He did good. He had a good game. You got to keep in mind, man, it's going to take a lot of convincing for me to think that he's going to be much different. I need a pretty nice lump sum of games, and even in this game I felt like it was some bad shot selections, but he did play well. Keldon has games like this. I like the rookie. He's so good. Yeah, Castle is really, and that's the thing. Castle ran more of a combo guard last season with UConn, and his shooting was really poor, right? Like 27% or something like that. But he actually can shoot much better than people, give him credit for. Harrison Ingram and Sidi Sissoko both said this during the scrimmage, or not scrimmage. It wasn't scrimmage. What was it? The summer league. They talked about that, how he's a much better shooter than people think he is, with them practicing with him and everything. And so he's much better than than what he showed at UConn. And in high school, he could shoot lights out. So, yeah, he's a really good player, man. He's not afraid to take the shots either. Also, just a little fun fact here. As you can see, he had the highest plus minus of any player on the team. He had plus 10. Closest one to him was Trey Jones with a plus 7. So he definitely, I don't know if he'll start this season. I doubt it. But I definitely think he's going to be finishing games. Like he is going to be in it. When the game is close and there's 4 minutes left, he's going to be in that game. I don't think Pop is going to have him out of that game. He makes so many good decisions when the time is running out. And he plays with so much intensity too. I know he doesn't show a lot of facial expression, but he plays with a lot of intensity, a lot of attention to detail. Yeah. Spurs has 70 points in the paint, which is pretty impressive. Jeez, I didn't even realize that. I love how Castle is more hype on his teammates' dunk than his dunk. Yeah, he's just a good teammate. You know, he just doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And he's very confident, you know. He's very confident. Oh, I didn't even mention City Sissoko. He did fine. He barely played, so he did fine. Yeah. I'm not convinced that he's going to get a lot of minutes this season, right? I think most of the minutes he could be getting is going to be taken up by Mamu. But at the end of the day, you know, Sissoko, he needs another year to cook, right? He needs to be in the G League. He needs to cook a little bit, and he'll be fine. I do like him. Hopefully his 3-point shooting will be much better. He just needs reps, so we got to send him to the G League again. His ball denial is top notch. It is. He is. When we talk about we need a point of attack defender, this is what he is. He is by far the best, or I think he's going to be this season, the best perimeter defender we have. You know, I love me some Castle. He's a great player, man. When we hopefully contend soon, I can see closing lineups having Wemby, Sohan, Devin Vassell, Castle. Castle will definitely be in the game he's definitely going to be in the closing lineup. Maybe he doesn't start off starting, right? I do think he could be a future point guard, starting point guard for us. But yeah, he is going to finish games, undoubtedly. How he's been finishing is, yeah. UConn fan here. Y'all low-key got the actual number 1 draft pick. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. My friend Swish Hill talked about him a lot before last season even started. So I kept my eye on him, and I was like, oh, my goodness. And that's when we were going to the draft. There were a lot of people not liking the fact that I had Castle over Risache. A true two-way player. He getting 22 plus minutes this year. Yeah, he could legitimately be Rookie of the Year. The only thing that will hold him back from being Rookie of the Year is himself, because he doesn't take a lot of bad shots. He's just going to try to help his teammates. He just tries to win. That's the only thing that's going to hold him back. Minix 8 points under 4 minutes is crazy. Minix is a shooter. That dude can score. That dude can score. He is him. Exactly. That's all I have to say about the game. Overall, it was a good game without Wemby. They played very well, and you can already tell that the Spurs are starting to kick it up a notch, right? They are kicking it up a notch. That fourth quarter in particular, you can look at the end of the game, right? You can see the first half, it was 27 points, 25 points. They kicked it up to 36, and then they ended with the fourth 38-29. They finished so strong. And really, it was led by Castle, to be honest with you. But yeah, and then gave the Jazz their first preseason loss of the preseason. So they just did a good job, man. Just overall, I know I keep saying impressive, but I don't have another word for it. Castle was on the UConn Dream Team, essential part of probably top 3 best college basketball teams of all time. He did a great job. I really hope we can hold on to the leads longer this year. Last year, that was our issue. Oh, we don't have to worry about that at all. When you have Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, because now you can, last season we didn't have this luxury, right? Now you can put in, if things start to get a little messy, you can put in Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes together, and you're basically fine. Like, I'm not worried about will Zach or, Jeremy Sohan screw something up or Wemby screw something up. Because at that point, you're looking at Jeremy Sohan, Wemby, maybe Devin Vassell, and then 2 veterans, and great veterans at that. I'm not really worried about it. If the Spurs have a really good lead going into the 4th, that's probably a wrap. Like, I think they're going to finish a lot of games. That's why I've convinced myself that we can get to 44 wins. Looks like a whole different team this year. It's because everyone got so much better. And Blake Wesley, he earned his minutes last season, but he's been great, man. Turnover wise, what is he averaging? Under a turnover a game? I think the second game he didn't even have a turnover. I think the first one he had 1 turnover. I see it? Yeah. They're spanking Jazz, even with Colin Sexton out there. They look so good. This is going to be a fun season. If Atlanta exceeds expectations this year, it's going to be harder for Pop to tank. If Atlanta exceeds expectations, it'll be harder for Pop to tank. Oh, I get what you're saying. That we're going to need to tank. Atlanta is not going to exceed expectations this year. Spurs have depth now. They really do. Really do. I still don't know if we make the playoffs. A 44 wins still might not be enough, mind you. Let's see. NBA. 44 wins is me going crazy. Most people think around 35. Let's see. Standings. We'll look at the standings last season. Why does it all automatically have 24-25 on here? Oh, this is wrong. What the heck is this? Oh, that was a pop-up. All right, let's go here. Yeah, see, 44 wins last season still doesn't even put you in the conversation. So, you'll still be kind of a tank. I've seen enough. 72-10 plus championship. Good God. Spurs can make a play-in push. For sure. But I think even me saying 44 wins, I think that's pushing it. Right? But last season, what it looked like in the West is 44 wins wouldn't have got you there. Not even at the play-in. Close, but not quite. We'll see. We're breaking 50 wins. Oof. That would be, I think that would be the craziest turnaround in NBA history. Best turnaround seasons NBA history. Someone showed us this in chat, and we were second. We were second and third. Celtics won 42 more games in 2007, 2008. Okay, so not quite. Not quite. Thanks for subscribing, Big Sundays. Not quite. Yeah, we would seriously be looking at one of the greatest turnarounds in NBA history. You get in the 50s from 22. Even with my very optimistic 44, you're still in the history books. Going to 50 plus would be insane. Wait till we 10 games in and he's in MVP talks. Who we talking about? Wemby? Spurs undefeated when CP3 plays. True. All right, that was good stuff. Moving on, though.